What was it like to work with Tom Cruise again, the biggest action star that we got?
It's always fun. You know, it's a privilege to be part of these films. I was very lucky to be given my little cameo in Mission Impossible 3 and then to be asked back for 4 and then subsequently for the, you know, until now. I know it's going to be an adventure. I know I'm going to travel to some interesting places. I know I'm going to do some crazy things and I'm going to learn some new skills. And I'm going to get to hang out with, you know, the biggest movie star in the world.
I'd met him several times for different screen tests for other jobs, and I knew that he was very present and very generous with other actors that he works with, and had extensive film knowledge and understanding of the technical sides of filmmaking as a producer as well as an actor.
He's so connected with everything, and he's always asking if we need help.
He is very dedicated to the craft, very focused, very into it, a great leader, but also very freaking funny.
When he asks you a question, he truly wants to know the answer. If something needs taken care of and you need it done, he'll handle it.
My very first shot with him was in Paris. We were doing that huge club sequence and we had to run really fast, deep into the crowd. And as he was running through, because we had to bump into a lot of people who were the dancers, he kept stopping to say, I'm so sorry, which was not Ethan Hunt, but it was Tom saying, I don't want to bump into people, I don't want to be rude. And it was amazing because he was stopping the shot continually because he just didn't want people to be barged into. And I just thought it's so classic Tom. And that's, he's a movie star, but he's also one of the loveliest men you'll ever meet, and that's just amazing, really.
Hören Sie mir zu. Die Welt wird Jagd auf Sie machen.
Sein Schicksal steht fest. Sollen wir auch Ihres festlegen?
Wenn Sie Ihnen auch nur ein Haar kommen, sind Sie nirgendwo auf der Welt vor mir sicher. Das steht fest.
This franchise is the epitome of action. What challenges do you think the action genre will face in the future? And what must filmmakers do to ensure that the action genre doesn't lose its fascination?
Tell better stories within the action. Sometimes you can get caught up in the big explosions or the set pieces of it and not really tell a compelling story that's character driven and allow audience members to follow the characters, and I think that's what this film does really, really great.
I think it's about having a vision and have, you know, an incredible director helming the project, I think.
Every time I watch action films, if they are led by characterization, if I am emotionally invested in the characters before the action begins, then the action for me takes on a much more visceral experience rather than it just being something that I'm technically impressed with.
Well, I think Tom and McHugh have really dialed in the criteria for a really good action film, and that is for the people involved to do the action themselves, you know?
The one thing that this has going for it that no other action film has going for it is that Tom does all his own stunts. And you know that when you're watching this, and it's all done practically. It's old school filmmaking. You have a visceral response when you watch these. You are watching him jump off that ramp. You are watching him in the streets right out here in Rome drive one-handed. In that, you think anything is possible. You care about Ethan Hunt. Ethan bleeds when he's cut. You know what I mean? He's vulnerable. And that makes him not a superhero, and people can relate to that.
It's like story and character and stunts. They have to exist together, because if they don't, you don't really care.
If you could borrow one item or a gadget from the world of Mission Impossible, which one would it be and what would you use it for?
I like the glasses that they use that can identify people in crowds. If I was ever at a music festival and I'd lost my friend, I could just whip them on and they could search the crowd and spot them immediately. I think that would make life a lot more efficient.
It would either be the mask machine or the gloves that you can stick to stuff.
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, there's the gloves climbing up the building.
Yeah, but would you want to do that in real
No,
life?
I don't need those gloves.
Oh, the elevators doesn't work anymore. Let me use my gloves.
I'd snake the gloves from Tom, yeah. I'd take those.
I'll take the gloves.
Yeah.
That's just fun.
The mask machine, without a doubt, because you could just put on someone else's face, go do some terrible stuff. And it's one of those brilliant devices in Mission Impossible that's so crazy. It's kind of ridiculous, but we always take it seriously. We've always been very faithful to it, so I would love to have the mask machine.
I think maybe like Tom Cruise's physical ability. Feels like a cool gadget.
Running very fast from, you know, from my problems. It's like
Even
as
a high
fast
five
as
for
Tom.
that.
Great.
Oh.
Yes! Oh my
She's
god.
practicing
I'm
her
so
high
bad
fives.
at high fives.
What would you think of the idea of a spin-off with Benji and Luther? Do you think this would work without Ethan Hunt?
I don't know. I've kind of jokingly said we should do a film called Done and Dusted, which is all about Benji Dunn. But the responsibility for us to do something which is on a par with what Tom does, I can do without that pressure, you know? I think Tom Cruise is Mission Impossible and Mission Impossible is Tom Cruise.